So today we're going to be talking about garter snake care. We're going to be going over four main things: setup, heating and lighting, feeding and cleaning, and we're going to be going over all the things that we wish we knew when we started with garter snakes. Okay, so for setting up your garter snake, if it's a baby, you can keep it in a 10-gallon tank like this. We have two baby snakes in here, and they can live until, both of them communally, until they're about 8 or 10 months old. But when they get bigger, you can put them in a 30 or 40 gallon. We keep our garter snakes in a 50-gallon tank. So the next thing after you have your tank, you're going to want enrichment in it. Like we have a house, we have a Lego house we built. We have some things hanging up from there that they can climb on. You have a sunning rock in there, their water dish, and you always want hides in there that they can go into and feel squished, usually kind of darker ones. And they have swings that they hang. So we use aspen shavings for our substrate. That's usually the easiest because it's cheap and it's available and it cleans really well. You can just use paper towels for their entire time they're there, and that won't be a big deal. But substrate kind of offers something for them to burrow in and more enrichment and stimulation. Okay, for heating and lighting, there are two different ways you can go with. You can do a heat mat from below or a basking light from a top. Usually garter snakes like basking better because in the wild they bask a lot. You can use a heat mat if that's all you have, but they will benefit better from a heat lamp. So if you do have a basking light from above, then you're going to want to make sure that you have a basking rock or a log, something that's usually higher up than everything else in the cage, something that they can sit on and get warm. Another thing with basking is there are UVB bulbs, which are bulbs that produce ultraviolet rays like the sun does, but garter snakes don't necessarily need that. You can if you want to. It doesn't really make a difference, so you can do whatever you want with that. Okay, so another thing with lighting is kind of an enrichment light, something that lights up their enclosure so it looks nice and looks good. You can do things like homemade lights like we have, or buy lights from the store that have it. It's not necessarily needed, but it usually just makes your enclosure look nice and better. Okay, for feeding garter snakes, you can feed them a variety of stuff. You can feed them fish, mice, worm, chicken and chicken hearts, and occasionally you could feed them ground beef. For baby garter snakes, you usually have to cut up all your worms, your mice into smaller pieces because they're very little. For older ones, you usually can just cut up pieces. Alright, thank you for watching this video about garter snake care. I hope it was helpful, and please like and subscribe.